What's up, y'all?
We're gonna play our music, Dunamis Woman, and I'm gonna still play it for you because you know what, you're gonna get your groove on. But in the meantime, I am D Collins. I am Dunamis D, your host of this show right here, D Speaks You Think, and I am at Rolling Out Live. And let me tell you all something. This show is going to be live. Don't ever get boxed into scripts, tradition, formalities, because it will keep you off your square when you got to step in at the anytime.
Yeah, the moment.
Anytime.
In the moment.
In a moment. In a
Yeah.
moment. In a moment. Well, if you all looking at me, and I know that you are, and you can hear me say, "What's up, D? What's up?" Because I have a great man in my midst. Now, before I get to Michelle, introduce her as the co-host of this show. Anybody who know me and need to know me, want to get to know me, I'm going to let you know about me.
Uh-oh.
I
Let 'em
am
know.
very empathic and love the heart, the mind, and the soul of great men. Kenny Pugh, I'm empathic about that.
I know. You've been on that for some time now, so
But I'm going hard.
yeah, you are. You're
Yeah,
going hard in the
I'm
paint.
going hard now. I'm going hard now. I'm going hard. I'm going hard. And I'm going hard because we as women need to understand your greatness. We as women, we need you all. We need to understand your spiritual authority. We need to understand the presence, Presence, that you are bringing our lives and not just deem you for your presence.
Material things.
Material
Yeah,
things.
that's
Material
correct.
things. So I welcome you to the show, Kenny Pugh.
Man, thanks for having me. We go back some years, and we were trying to figure out where that all started, but it's been some years. And so every time you call, I just get excited about being able to partner with you and then come out and just being able to be a part of what you're doing, because you're doing some great things. So we're going to continue that kind of train of thought, and today is going to be no different. We're going to impact the lives of some people. For those who don't know me, I'm Kenny Pugh. I'm a certified life coach,
Yes.
relationship expert. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group sessions. I do speaking in churches and other public venues.
Yes,
And I
yes.
just like going around impacting and changing, helping people to change and transform their lives.
We do very much the same thing, very parallel, but I think it has a very unique approach when a great man like yourself, a real awesome man like yourself, can step on that stage, can step in that arena. I just firmly believe y'all change the atmosphere. And I ain't going to take away from the dunamis woman that I am and the power that I possess.
That's
but
right.
you can pave the way.
Right,
Are you with
right.
me? You can pave the
Absolutely,
way. You can pave the
absolutely.
way. You got a beautiful woman sitting next to you there, and she's ready to say something. Who is she, Kenny Pugh?
That's Michelle. Michelle
Michelle.
she's
No,
doing her
no.
thing as always. And she's an awesome person to have along with you as well,
Yes,
because
thank
she's like thorough. I was just impressed. Not a lot of people have professional people that work along with them.
Oh,
so
she's the bomb.
She
diggity.
does her thing.
She is the bomb.
Thank you.
Thanks,
She is the
Michelle.
bomb.
I appreciate it. I too am very excited to be here. I'm excited that you are here, and like you said, we all go back.
Yes.
From Dunamis Woman and Real Awesome Man magazine to just everything, meeting you in your office. I remember that day and just everything that you were doing, and then to see it manifest and see you out there and doing your thing.
Hey, I'm
That's
not
a
going to stop.
blessing. That's a
And that's the
blessing.
whole point. We can't be stopped. We're a
No.
warrior, and we cannot be stopped. We
Yeah.
cannot be stopped. Well, we're going to get into some stuff because I want every minute of this show is going to change your mind, change your thoughts, change your views. It's time for some paradigm shifts. So we didn't just have Kenny Pugh on here because he's just fine, he's handsome, and he's the husband and the king and the priest and all that. He got something that he needs to bring to enlightenment for every viewer, every listener. Kenny, I have a segment that I always love to talk about, which is understand your greatness. Understand your greatness. And I'm always reminded when I use the term understand, and I know it's so much in the Proverbs, but Proverbs 4:7, particularly when it says wisdom is the principal thing, get wisdom. But in all you're getting, get an understanding.
Absolutely.
You know, when you hear that, just tell me your thoughts before I get into some more.
Well, I think it always goes back to people want to have popularity, but they don't want to have knowledge.
Come on now.
And so when you have popularity without knowledge, you just set yourself up for the great fall. The things that people are doing today, and you see it all across social media, everybody wants to be seen, but not everybody wants to have substance.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of powerful differentiation there, right? So people want to have power and popularity, but they don't want to have knowledge and understanding. And it's very, very important for people to realize that your day is going to come in the moment in which you are prepared and ultimately, presented to be able to have that influence. And so I think people are chasing popularity and fame, but they're not realizing the cost that comes along with it, which a lot of them end up collapsing because they're not prepared for it.
Yeah. And the cost that it's really going to take a lot that we don't want them to have at expense, and that's their life and their legacy.
Yep,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? It's not about what you do today. It's about what you're going to leave here on this earth. What is your name going to be like? What is your legacy going to look like? What happens next? What's after you?
Yep,
You know?
yep.
Yeah.
And greatness takes time.
It does. Yeah, and a lot of times people think that a lot of the great people that we see today were prepared, and they're like overnight sensations, when in reality they're like 20 and 30 years worth of preparation for what we're ultimately now seeing. And so it's important for us to not get caught up in other people's stories.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
People get caught up in other people's, the presence of what people have today, and they don't understand their stories.
Yeah, and the topic for today, and we're so in it right now, is your true identity, walking in that, looking candidly at yourself in the mirror.
Yep.
Look at candidly. And so it's so easy for me to look at you because I don't have to take responsibility for myself.
Yep, absolutely. And so one of the things that through coaching, I've learned is that when you start to ask people what's going on in their lives, it's so easy to start to point the finger, and they'll start to talk about everybody who did them wrong and all of these different things that transpired, which is fine and dandy. But the reality of the mirror is that when you look at the common denominator out of all of your situations and circumstances, you were present.
You were present.
And so you have to take responsibility for some of those things that have transpired in your life. And you might have had some bad things happen in your life. And so we're not going to take away from that. But there are some things that happen because you made bad decisions. You didn't pay attention to the red flags. You thought that you were going to be a changer, and God has not called you to do that for that particular person in that particular season. And so a lot of the things that we're seeing are a result of our own ignorance and our own sabotage of our lives.
Yeah. From a coaching perspective, I always, and you use the term bad decisions, but I always challenge particularly my clients, because that spiritual piece of life and relationship is so untapped into. Religion has smothered that. It has suffocated the spiritual awareness, the enlightenment. So even when I use the term bad, or people say that I made a wrong decision, and I challenge them, there is no right or wrong decision, because your decision is your decision. However, what are you going to do with that decision? You know what I mean? Because I know I have made some decisions that I'm like, why in the heck did I do that? You know what I mean? What was wrong with me? What was on my mind? However, there was nothing wrong with me. I was naive in certain areas, and it had to come to bring me life lessons. Yeah. So I'm no longer naive in that area. So what makes it bad, what makes it wrong, is that I keep beating myself up. You know what I mean? I keep condemning myself for that lesson that I would not have learned if I had not have made that decision.
The challenge that I would push back on in that regard is that we have people that are making the same mistakes today that they made when they were 18.
Well, that's stupidity. I mean, but you're right.
Yeah, so when you start making the same mistakes over and over again, that's when we get back to what we were talking about. Looking at in the mirror.
Take a look at the mirror.
Something is going on, so we got to be very cautious about that.
When we come back to our next segment, and we're not going to go on a break right now, but I'm going to actually pull out my mirror.
Okay.
And I want you all, if you are accessible to a mirror, go on and get that mirror right now, because we're going to take a look. And when you take a look in the mirror, I want you to see one thing within yourself. If you're on Facebook and wherever you're looking at us, I want you to put it up there. What do you see? Yeah. What do you see? Yeah. And I ain't talking about, I got good hair, my eyebrows. I'm talking about eyes is the pathway to the soul.
It is. Yes, it
What
is.
is that thing that you don't like, that you got to see and you got to face, that is right there for you to exude greatness in your life?
And when you pull out that mirror, don't look behind you to the side. Look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you. It's about you.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's
people
what
don't
it's
want to face who
Yeah.
they are, though.
You know, it's a scary thing. I'm being honest with you. Sometimes when you see yourself, you see your ancestors, you see your parents, you see all the things that you did not want to become. You even see your children and what they have become. And sometimes it's hard to look at yourself because you don't see what you want to see.
The other thing about that is when people look in the mirror, they see what other people thought that they were supposed to be, and if they are not living up to those standards, or if they've been stripped of their identity, that they don't see anything. All they see is almost like a lost cause. They see all their failures. They see everything that has transpired in their lives that they didn't live up to other people's expectations. And so even from a coaching perspective, one of the exercises that I do, especially in the beginning, is to go look in the mirror and begin to write down the things that you love about yourself, things that that you desire for yourself, and then begin to write down the things that are areas of opportunity.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like to call them weaknesses, but areas of
opportunities. Yeah.
And they're going to go through that because a lot of times people haven't gone through that exercise and they start to list out what other people said about them instead of what they really truly want for themselves.
And a lot of times, even I coach people through doing their own personal SWOT analysis. You know what I mean?
Yep,
We always
yep,
do that from a business
yep,
standpoint.
yep.
But what are your own threats to
Yep,
yourself?
yep.
You know what I mean? What are your opportunities for yourself? And what are your weaknesses that you have to know that those weaknesses are your strength?
Yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean? So
absolutely.
those strengths and weaknesses, how do I turn that and shift that to what I see in my strengths? You know? So that takes some work.
It does.
That takes some work.
And it takes some transparency.
Oh, with yourself.
Yeah.
With yourself. It's amazing because when I coach couples, particularly premarital, before I marry anybody, they got to go through this. But I do an exercise. You're talking about looking in the mirror, where they have to really sit face to face and stare each other in the eyes. You know, and I have a time clock, and it's so long, and you can't quit until I say stop. You know what I mean? But Kenny and Michelle, when I tell you squirming, you know what I mean, and
They get uncomfortable.
very uncomfortable.
Because when you look at people long, you start to notice their blemishes, and that's what people think. They think you're looking at their blemishes, their imperfections, when in reality they couldn't. That might not necessarily be the truth.
But that's the person you're getting ready to say I do to. And we're trained in our minds to look at the surface of a person before we take that commitment. And even when they go to the altar and I officiate, because I don't just officiate weddings just to do it, you know what I mean? But they understand that when they take those vows, that they're saying, I am the one to love the hell out of your issues.
Yeah, and that,
You know, I'm the one.
so
I can
here's
handle
the thing that's interesting about that is that some people go to the altar with the understanding that they're marrying the person that is across from them. Some people go to the altar with the expectations of trying to alter someone. So the truth is, don't go to the altar with the expectations of trying to alter someone.
That's right. That's right.
Because that's problematic. The person that you are marrying today, pretend like they're never going to change for the rest of their lives. Can you address and deal with their issues? Can you love the hell out of
That's
them?
it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm the one assigned to love the hell out of those issues. And that's really what love is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I am great. You are great. Michelle is great. If you are listening to me and viewing me, know that you are great in your own self, in your own individuality. However, when we come together in any form of relationship, marital, business, sibling, or whatever, you only can have greatness when you come together.
Yep.
Greatness is never on your own.
Nope.
You know, so that sabotage, that spirit of sabotage want to come in because you won't exude the greatness of why you were put together, divinely instructed. You know what I mean? Divinely ordered. I did not have a question about who was going to come through my mother's womb. My siblings were assigned to me. Now I got one. I asked God why. Oh, you know who you are. You know who you are. I'm going to send this to him. You know who you are. But even outside of that, I'm going to use myself, Kenny. I know even with us coming together at this juncture of life, there is an assignment for greatness to exude from us.
And you can't ignore it once you start to feel that tug. I know you've been feeling it for years.
Most definitely.
So you're like, okay, I got to go with this. I need to
Most
press
definitely.
forward. You said something that was very interesting, though, and I think social media has shifted the way that we perceive ourselves. So we start to reflect ourselves upon everyone else's highlight films. Their highlight reels begin to dictate how we feel about ourselves.
Correct.
And so that's where it's very, 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 very important for people to realize that what we are noticing and witnessing and seeing on social media should not impact your life individually unless it's used as a motivating factor for you to continue to improve yourself, become better. Because the reality of the matter is, all them people that you see that are doing great things, quote unquote, are not most likely aren't.
But no, ain't no most likely. I have the stripes, I have the investment, I have the sacrifice. Let me tell you something, and I know you see this too, and I know why you're so empathic and why you're saying that, because when you are actually coaching and you sit down with individuals one-on-one, they dump out their issues. They dump out their mess. We see the wounds. We see the deep wounds that are hindering them. Then you get on social media, you be like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
You and your bae and you and coaching trying to kill him.
You done called him stupid and all kind of derogatory things. Then you on here Facebook, my love. You know what I'm saying? It breeds falseness.
Yeah. And we gotta have more people that are willing to be transparent and be real.
I was gonna go on Facebook with my rollers in my hair, Michelle.
Now we gotta keep the brand. Yeah, we gotta keep the brand in order.
They so busy on me keeping the brand, but that is my brand. I bet y'all would have got 1 million likes.
Hey, it's okay to be authentic and real, but some things are meant to be kept private, and that might be one of those things.
Well, on that note, we're gonna come back. This is D Speaks You Think. I am here with the one and only Kenny Pugh, Michelle Obasi, and we're gonna be right back for some real live talk about life and relationships. Stay tuned.
Life and relationship coach. And I'm so excited because I have an awesome show that's just for you right here on Rolling Out Live. Yes, that's it, Rolling Out Live. Every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You were going to get insight because when D Speaks, You Think. We're going to have real talk about life and relationships because we got real problems. We got some real issues. But guess what? When D Speaks, You Think, you're going to come up with the real solution about your life and relationships. So I want you to join me. Don't forget, every Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Rolling Out Live. And I have a special segment just for you. It's called Dear D. That means you can ask your questions. You can get insight about your life with specificity. So I want you to join me because it's going to be live. And follow me on Facebook at Dunamis D. And you can also hit me up or follow me on Instagram at D Speaks You Think. See you soon.
Well, welcome back to D Speaks You Think right here on Rolling Out Live. And we got some great talk for you that we're going to continue. Real life, real relationships, you all. We got some real issues. But you know what? It's those issues is where your greatness lies. Yes, OMG. It's those issues where your greatness lies. You know, Kenny, Michelle, for a long time in my life, and I want to talk about greatness from a healing perspective, because if we don't experience emotional healing, our finances, our legacy, our relationships are steadily being impacted, by that. But I have so learned that even in my struggle of what I was facing of abandonment issues, that my greatness was there. And I know that sounds crazy. Does that sound crazy to you all?
You know what? Because I have gone through a level of healing in your emotional healing clinics over all of these years, as you being my spiritual leader and life and relationship coach, it doesn't seem strange. Back when I was in my world in my own way, not looking in the mirror, not realizing who I really am, I had a grandiose mentality. I was broken beyond measure and couldn't put two nickels together, let alone think about wealth or anything of that nature, because I did not allow the healing. I have abandonment issues too. Never knew my father or anything of that nature, and that impacted me. Did not know it until I got older and was wondering, why am I kind of stuck and stagnant and not able to move? And then you told me about emotional healing. You taught me about emotional healing, and you took me through a process. Now I live very extensive. I'm talking about deep tissue surgery. Now I live to build legacy. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm reaching back to where I was and saying, hey, this is, to other people, this is the path. This is a path to success. This is a path to wealth building. It has to start with your healing.
And you have to dive deep. You got to be willing to go deep. And what people don't realize is in order to really erect a great and big, grandiose thing, sometimes you have to lay a firm foundation in order for it to continue to stand. Unfortunately, people don't want to have to go through the hurt, the pain, the process of really getting that foundation in order, in order to be able to build that big, grandiose mansion idea, that purpose building, purpose life changing thing. And that's where we run into problems. People start trying to build it on sand, like the word
Come on
says.
Now. But can I be honest with you all? I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be transparent. You talk about looking in the mirror. I understand, keyword, I understand that those who are destined for greatness because of who they are. See, we did not have a say-so about who we are, whether you realize it or not. You know what I'm saying? Your true identity has been stapled. It's been marked. Now, you may be naive to it, ignorant of it, and haven't tapped into it. But from a spiritual perspective, it has not changed. When you are destined for greatness and you are marked and you keep ignoring that mirror, you keep ignoring because you don't want to sit down, your life is going to begin to take a shift and a turn where you might not expect it, because it has to bring out that greatness. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, I'm just sitting back from a spiritual leader, life and relationship coach for those who are suffocated and smothering themselves through pleasure, religion, your identity of not knowing who you are. And I'm sitting back waiting, because greatness is going to cause some breaking on the inside. And when that breaking comes, because you're great, it's not because you're being punished. You know what I'm saying? It's not because, ooh, you ain't loved. You are great. And when greatness is calling you, you got to come forth.
Man, you can be
Kenny, we're going to blow up as coaches then.
It's amazing.
The truth.
It's amazing that you bring that up, because a lot of people don't realize, they think that by trying to medicate or trying to, inundate themselves with pleasure or overwhelm themselves with pleasure, that's the way to really bring about the breakthrough that they're looking for. And reality is, a lot of that stuff, man, once the smoke clears, you still have to deal with the person that
you got to
are.
deal with it. You
And
got to
so
deal with it.
A lot of times you'll get you'll have that navigation of your life. You'll make a series of decisions that will bring you to a place where you have no other choice but to say, you know what, I'm tired of running away from my greatness. I'm tired of running away from the thing that I know that God is really calling me to do with my life. I know I'm supposed to be a business owner. I know I'm supposed to write this book. I know I'm supposed to do this TV show, whatever the case may be. And I'm at a point right now where I'm going to do it. Everybody reaches that point, and hopefully, and our hopes, our prayers is that you reach that point sooner rather than later. I don't,
Well, they're going to reach it because it's destined. Transparency. I wasn't running from greatness. I wasn't running from my vision. I've always straightforward, head on, faced it, embraced it. Now I did not want to yield to some of the things that came with it. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not want to yield with it. However, as it's not a punishment, my name has been marked for greatness. So if you would have ever made me believe at that time, when God said it's time for you to come forth, my marriage dissolved for me to come forth. You know what I'm saying? That's my story. You know what I mean? That's my journey, because I see back now that if I had stayed where I was, I would have lost that of me that he was calling forth. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that he was bad, I was wrong, any of that. It's where greatness is saying, from the predestined time that I have ordained you to be in the earth, who you don't know got to come forth. You have to embrace your true identity. And I could not continue with an identity being in something beyond myself. Does that make sense?
A lot of people find themselves.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
and you don't know why. I'm telling everybody who's been divorced, no, it's for a purpose.
It's for a purpose. My mother used to say, and I used to get so angry. She said, "I'm happily divorced." I said, "Ma, how could you say something like that?" But her greatness was contingent upon my dad was abusive. So just imagine had she stayed in that relationship, she would not have been able to do all that she was able to do. And my mother wasn't rich. She was a post office worker 30 years, but the way in which she raised her children, that was her legacy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She wouldn't have been able to do it to that magnitude in her situation.
And that's why you can't compare yourself to other people. Right. You know what I mean? You can't look at, like, what did you say, Kenny? You can't look at somebody else's story and live theirs.
Yeah, people are assessing themselves against other people's highlight films.
Yes, highlight films.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And I believe my journey is my journey. Kenny, you and your wife are not going to have to take that journey because of principles that you implemented. You know what I mean? The front end. You see what I'm saying? See, so somebody can't come. If I'm going to compare myself, well, I got to be like Kenny and what's your wife's name again? Tamiko. You know what I mean? You are now taking their highlights because you did not make those decisions knowing who you are. See, you was on this journey and you had searched and looked in the mirror prior to. Am I right or wrong?
Yep.
Don't leave me hanging now.
And there was some pain and process involved.
There you go. So talk about that for a minute.
People don't realize that this whole journey of connecting with a life mate is not one that's a simple one. Like, we make it simple when you look at the highlights on social media.
Right.
We talk about these 3 points and then a poem at the end of a sermon that will connect you to your Mr. or Mrs. Right, when in reality, man, it's a process. It's a preparation of two people. It's a willingness to sacrifice to be in a great form of communication that is something that's going to always be an ongoing thing. You can never perfect communication, especially when you're talking about two people, because some people get to a place where I don't want to talk today. There's some days I don't want to talk, but as far as for the betterment of the marriage, I have to talk. I have to put myself aside in order to be a better man, a better husband for my wife. And there are some times that she doesn't want to talk, and I challenge her, and then she'll ultimately say, okay, let's talk. But that people don't want to put that stuff out there, that you're not going to always agree, you're not going to always get along, you're not going to always see eye to eye. But one of the true tests of marriage is being able to work through your differences, and I don't think we see enough of that.
I guess that's why I'm home alone.
You have to be willing to work through your differences.
Right. But also, if there's a remnant of great people that is drawn to you based upon that. There's a remnant of great people that's drawn to me, and I could just use every name when you look in the mirror and begin to see yourself. A lot of women are not content with being who they are to be able to enhance a relationship before they get into that. You see what I'm saying? And I'm very, very not just content of being by myself, but pursuing the greatness that's on the inside of me and being willing to say, I don't need this person to make me great, but willing to wait to have someone to compliment that we can have greatness.
If you can't be by yourself, then you can't be with somebody else. I'm a firm believer that if you don't enjoy you, then how can somebody else enjoy you?
Kenny, that's what I'm like, God, because I'm enjoying me so much. I'm like, you're going to bring somebody.
Man.
I'm like, you're going to bring somebody. And I don't know if
you got the opposite issue. Other women like gang be with themselves.
I'm so at peace.
But you got peace.
That's why I know he going to come.
But that's the whole thing though. But you're not waking up like, let me check my phone, see who's paying me some attention, and let me see who's looking for me, and let me go out and just be. I mean, you are living your life. You're living your best life.
Life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden. Yes, I am.
And I think a lot of people aren't taking advantage of the opportunity because when we say it like this, marriage is not better than being single. It's just different. Yeah. And there's a different calling, different set of responsibilities. Yeah. And there are some pros to being married.
Yes,
There's some cons to being married, but we don't want to say that. There's some pros to being single. And there's some cons to being single.
Yes, it is.
Both of them are two different seasons, very unique, very purposeful for whatever your season is. But man, enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life.
You know what? And I want to ask you all, as coaches, when you sit in that mirror and you're looking and you're really going deep, and you're at the resolve that, you know what, hey, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be who God called me to be. There are external factors around you. Mm-hmm. How do you handle that? How would you suggest or tell people, because both of you all live by spiritual principles.
Most definitely.
How would you handle that external factors when you're trying to get all up in you, but you got those naysayers or you got folks around you?
I'm going to let Kitty go first because you might not want to know my response.
See, but I think for me, it's a day-to-day journey.
Yeah,
right? It's a daily journey for me because I know I've been doing this thing for some years. I've been preaching, I've been speaking, I've been sharing. My message has been unique. It's been consistent for a number of years. It's a message that I know people need to hear. I know it's a tried and true message that will allow people to have success in their lives. If I could strip people out of their relationships, if I could force them to look in the mirror, if I could cut off sex from all of the extra relationships so that people could get themselves in order within themselves, like in the mirror. Let everybody look in the mirror. And let's go ahead and stop these improper connections. I think we would have an abundance of forthcoming, successful relationships. People are in relationships with people that they're not supposed to be in relationship with. People are staying connected with people that they're not supposed to be connected to.
Yeah, most definitely.
People are doing things and wondering why the outcomes are what they are because they are they're yoked to the wrong person. I mean, there's so much people are becoming very comfortable in dysfunction.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Dysfunction is a norm now.
Well, they look at the dysfunction as a norm, you know, and they don't look at the abnormalities of those dysfunctions, you know.
But to their defense, we're not promoting enough healthy positive relationships so that people can say, oh, that's what a positive relationship
But the first
like.
relationship that you have to be in is in a relationship with yourself. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And that, I mean, because look, I ain't new here. I grew here. Not just from a professional standpoint, but a personal standpoint. So even with the work that we do, Kenny, our personal have to line up with our professional.
And it forces you
to make some decisions. Look in the mirror, you know. Absolutely. So decisions that I did not look in the mirror in the past, in my 20s or my 30s, and even my early 40s. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna keep going beyond 40, but I have now had to sit down. It's hard being over 50. Have to look at things that you did not want to sit down and look at, but because greatness was calling me, I could not get away from it. You know what I mean? And even that energy, I believe that we get into, and I can say it because I got into so many relationships. I don't want to call them a relationship. I just got connected with some people, and sex got involved too soon. You know what I mean? You know, we wasn't in a relationship. We was just
we was in re.
We was in.
We wasn't even
got to the lake. We were just going backwards. So I'm saying that because now our society fortifies sex. You know, you don't even. I coach so many people. I'm like, what was his last name? Oh, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Hey, if you can't say his last name, you don't know his family, you don't know her favorite color, man, then you are probably connected to the wrong person. You have not gotten to know that person. Right. You've gotten to know how they make you feel, and that's when you make decisions based off of how you feel. Versus what's ultimately best for you is when you start to find yourselves in
what you have to do looking in the mirror is getting yourself, and I'm speaking spiritually, and people don't believe this is real, but you have to become spiritually cleansed. You know what I'm saying? From those engagements, spiritually cleansed. In other words, you got to go through sex transmutation, that you're going to take that energy, take that horniness, take all those feelings and bring it to a place that I got to do this for me. You know, now I ain't talking about just being celibate to be celibate. You know, I'm talking about taking all that energy. What is my dream?
Yes.
What is it for me? You know, I'm writing 2 books at the same time. You know what I mean? Literally right now. You know what I mean? So I'm taking that energy, because where I could go out and do this and do that from a fleshly sexual standpoint, I choose to put that energy into my greatness.
People don't want to do that though.
Tell me why.
I think one of the things that my pastor used to say is that it's sinful because it's pleasurable to you. So it is what it is. Sex feels good. One of the best.
No, not all of it. Let's tell it. All of it though. I done had some disappointments.
That's a different show.
I just had to put it out there.
When you
but
have
go ahead,
to
get it.
right.
I just had to keep it live.
Yeah, that's a different show. But one of the things that we have to realize is that if you are willing to make that decision, it helps you get better in tune with yourself.
Most definitely.
And I'll let you speak to this, but from my observation is that women, there's a different feeling, there's a different sense of self-value and worth when you're able to connect with someone, be it positive or negative. You don't usually learn that until the other side of the decision that's been made. Like, oh, it just felt right. It felt good. You know, I wanted this relationship to work, so I think I'm doing the right thing. When in reality, you ultimately are making a challenging decision. I don't want to say a bad decision because we talked about that. It's not a bad decision. You're making a decision that's going to take you down a road that you're going to have to bring yourself back from.
Well, let me tell you before we go on break what we as females, quote unquote, women are doing predominantly in this era of time, utilizing our bodies, utilizing the power that's in between our legs to dominantly to lure you all, to seduce you all, to control your mind, you know.
But does it work though?
For some, because it's a spiritual force, unfortunately, particularly in our community, our tribe, our race, it is working because it is causing our black men to be emasculated by, and the web of it is getting them through the sexual intercourse. So because and women, that's why they throw in so much around, because they want to compete against the next woman to captivate that man. You know, it's really a strong spirit of Jezebel that is entered into the land to get you all. And that's why I'm so empathic about our men, because it's not about what's down there below your belt. It's about what's on your neck.
But we say that it's working, but it's really not. It's working like the lure is getting us in for the moment, but long term it's just
long term it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's being a temporary fix, but because that's why I say when destiny call, a lot of things is going to be shattered. And unfortunately, it's going to be more broken relationships, because I believe that the man's mind is so powerful. There's going to be an awakening. You know, like the gentleman that we had on the show, Victor Hill, a few weeks ago. He went through some of those experiences, but he had that awakening because of his heart.
But this, and we say that it's going to shift and it's going to change, but the reality is the playbook has been the same since the beginning of time,
and it's not going to change.
So we have to be very, very forthright in how we try to get people to change course, right? So that they don't have to go. So not as many people are going to make those same choices and decisions as people have made in the past. Put it this way,
your will is never usurped because that's your will. You are given your soul, your mind, and your emotions to govern. However, spiritually, the higher one is very, very strategic on how to redirect your path, that your will have to yield to his will. Because the book has already been written. The principles have already been laid out, which is why you were placed on this earth. You can't get in the way of you.
So when we come back from break, can we dive into some things that might change the outcomes?
Kenny Pugh, you a guest on this show. I'm going to dive straight in on everything you want. We're going to take a break. This is D Speaks You Think. We'll be right back because we're going to dive into some greater stuff, and you want to be here.
That's right.
Hey everyone, it is your favorite politician, Representative Erica Thomas, and I'm excited to tell you about the Erica Thomas Show, where we break down news and politics in layman terms where everybody can understand it. We start off the show with hip hop and politics, where we might interview your favorite celebrity and we break down hip hop and let you know that it's the same thing as politics, baby. And also coming up after that, we have kids and politics, where we bring on your favorite kid stars and they tell us all all about how they feel about politics. And then right after that is the hit list, where we tell you about the fails of the week. Who failed this week in the news? And who do we need to know about? It's all happening at 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. I said 6 o'clock every single Tuesday. So you better tune in. You better tune in. You better not miss it. I mean, you better not miss it. The Erica Thomas Show is on live.
I like how Kenny is doing those his live per segment.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite entertainment source has expanded. Rolling Out, the nation's best source for entertainment and lifestyle information, now has a lineup of web-based shows and podcasts on its newest platform, Rolling Out Live, every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all things related to the spirits industry, with 100 Proof Radio Show, to cuisine with Le Kitchen, and inspiration and relationships with Dunamis Women and Lipstick and Cognac. Rolling Out Live is your weekly digital destination. So tune in every Tuesday on rollingout.com and Rolling Out on Facebook. Don't miss it.
Well, welcome back to D Speaks You Think. I am a dunamis woman. And you all, if you don't know what dunamis means, it is a Greek term for miracle itself. It's a power, it's a strength, and it's a force that's deep down on the inside of you, that everything that you require in life never look external because it's already internal. I'm excited about what we're talking about. We're here with Kenny Pugh. I got Michelle Obasi. I got you. So if you want need answers to any of your life and relationship questions, you know what? We got two powerful coaches right here to give you some insight. But the main thing, you all, is that we got a mind of a great man. So I ain't finna here magnify myself, because when a man step in, I kind of like take a little, I don't take a back seat, but I step back a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's order abound.
Yeah, because I love it. I love it. And with that being said, we are preparing for our Great Man Conference 2018, you all. It's going to be online. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be live. We got some great men. I'm going to let Michelle speak about that. But the first one that we had, Kenny Pugh was a part of the Great Man Conference. Kenny, you remember that?
I do remember that, and we had a great time, and we had a chance to sit and chop it up. We've been keeping it real for some years. That's what I now reflect on, looking back on that experience, man. It was great to see the number of women, and I guess there were a couple men.
It was a couple men, but we really want the men to come out now. You know, I mean, because we can only do so much by ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? We need you all. So let's not gain just knowledge for ourselves, but we want to do it congruently and together.
Man, I'm so just kind of on that whole. I'm on coming from the perspective that women have the ability to change the way things are in a given situation, right? So when we started, before we went to break, we talked about the whole, how can we improve relationships?
We're gonna dive.
When it comes to relationships,
come on now, he got this preacher voice.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Let me go and put that one back on the show.
He got that Baptist song. Come on.
So my frustration is this: is that people are not swinging perspective, but they are going from one relationship to the next without taking time to reflect upon why their previous relationships have failed. There tends to be a blueprint, a roadmap of how people are going from one relationship, the things that they're doing, and the elements that are causing those relationships to blow up. So if I had a chance, and if I had a dream that I could communicate to other folks, it would be, everybody take a time out. If you're not happily married, if you are not going down that pathway of marriage, if you are in a standstill, stagnant relationship, if you are someone who is out there that cannot answer the question of what is love, and do you have a model couple that can model love, and you understand what it looks like, then everybody needs to take a chill pill. We need to close the legs. We need to pull our pants up. We need to reflect within ourselves so that we can understand, A, what does love look like? have we seen it modeled? If we don't have a model, we need to find a model before we start trying to connect with other people, because what are you going to ultimately try to live out? You're going to live out the things that you've seen in your past, and that has not proven to be successful or beneficial to anyone involved in those situations. And so for me, I would say take a step back. If I could say, everybody take a chill pill. I know you want to be in a relationship, but right now you're not prepared, you're not ready. You're not equipped to have a successful relationship. Anybody can have a relationship, but we want more successful relationships.
Right.
And so it's important for me as a coach, as a mentor, as somebody that is trying to see people live out these successful relationships, is that, hey, man, get back to understanding who you are as a person.
Who you are.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
That's right.
Don't let yourself be defined by others. Understand and experience true love in and of yourself, with yourself, by yourself. And then once you are able to do that, then you're really positioning yourself to say, okay, I want to attract the kind of love that I've been able to experience in and of myself by myself. You live outliving your best life. And so
Like
I'm
it's
not going to
golden.
let nobody come into my
Like it's
life
golden.
that's going to disrupt
Like
the best life that I'm living by
no,
myself.
no man, no woman, no child, no beast, no cattle,
Right.
none.
Right.
And I'm so
None.
serious.
Yeah.
And I say that, and I want to make 2 points of what you're saying. I say that before I go to my other point, is that I understand where I am based upon who I am. Many people don't even know where they are. You know what I'm
don't know
saying?
who they
And
are.
they don't even know who they are.
That's
So
the
they're just
bottom
totally
line.
lost. You know, and I refused. And I'm gonna use for an example. Where am I? I've fulfilled stages of development of life. 2 beautiful daughters, raised them, grandmother. And I have successfully accomplished that stage of life. You know what I'm saying? So now I have the liberty to make decisions without allowing people to make me revert. What are you saying, D? I don't babysit. You know what I'm saying? I don't surround myself around that because, they're so precious. They are precious. I love them. But that's not where I am. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
That's
so you have to be very cognizant that when you discover that place where you are because of who you are, people around you will always try to get you to go back subconsciously, you know what I'm saying, to please them when they're not even in place or pursuit of who they are.
Importance of boundaries. That's what I heard. There.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I said a lot, but
Standards.
just
Boundaries.
Yep, your boundaries.
And you have to, and it's not going to make other people feel good. You talked about that earlier because so many of us are still in people pleasing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to stand in my truth. You know, I don't know how to speak truth. I don't know how to do it in love. And that's what even Apostle Paul talked about in Ephesians. Speak the truth in love. You know, I can't be concerned, Kenny, if I tell you no, that your feelings are going to be hurt.
That's correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
The power of no is a powerful tool.
I love it. And I don't need nothing behind
no
it.
period, no comma.
Exclamation
Just-
point.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
I don't need to tell you my
Bottom
whys.
line.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
No.
because.
And no. And if you're really in a true relationship with me, I have totally come to a great understanding. Certain things, because you know who I am and where I am in a true relationship, you're not going to ask that of me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now you're going to go to someone else because that's not where D is.
But the thing about it is people people are going to continue to push on you just to see where your boundaries are.
If they
Almost
could, if
definitely.
they could tip
Almost
it over.
definitely.
Yeah.
That-
And so
that's it.
they will
human nature.
take advantage of the leniency that you have with yourself, and that you are going to be a people pleaser, and they will take advantage.
They
of that.
will take, but what that does for me, it makes me more assured. It brings me to a place of a firm foundation. You know what I'm saying? So my foundation is not built based upon myself. It's built by being who I am. And when other people's come and try to change me, it makes my foundation firm. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm
'cause
saying?
it
Does that make sense?
It does.
It reinforces
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So now I'm like, my forehead is hard
Yep,
as a flint.
as a flint.
You know what I mean?
That's
I'm
it.
you know,
That's it.
but, and this is the things that we talk about, and I speak that from a spiritual perspective. If anybody are Bible scholars, they know what I'm talking about when I say your
Yeah, come on,
forehead like a
Ezekiel.
flint. You know what I mean? So now I'm no longer speaking it because one of my pet peeves, and I'm not frustrated, but my pet peeve is us talking God's word and not having the ability to walk it.
Man, and we talked about that before the show, is that one of my frustrations, and people ask me, do you still speak in churches? Yeah.
Yeah.
I still speak in churches, and I still go and minister and all that good stuff, but I haven't been as outwardly, kind of forthcoming with that information, just from the standpoint of I'm disappointed with the church.
Well, but because
the
church,
a different show,
and that's a different show, and I'll go back to my point that I didn't forget, because right now that arena is thriving off of dysfunctions, and I'm gonna leave that alone. And I want somebody to call me on that one. I want you to let's come on the show and talk about it, because they're thriving off of people's dysfunctions where they're not prospering, but the head man or head woman is prospering. But the greatest model, going back to what you were saying, that I believe that we had, that we don't probably see it as a model because of the profession and the occupancy, and that is Barack and Michelle Obama as a model. And the reason why I say that is because we're looking at, he was the president, but if you look at the union, you know what I'm saying, of what the man represented and the woman with the man, yet she stood in her own identity, but yet he recognized, loved her for who she was, you know what I'm saying, prior to being married or getting into that relationship. He had a respect for her mind. She saw his mind. She saw his vision. You know what I'm saying? And they worked it together. He made decisions that he wasn't going to be a loose man. You know what I mean? He's one of the only men presidents that they probably could not find any dirt on. You know what I mean? So while we want to look at it from a presidential standpoint, can we look at it from a model of man and a woman perspective? You see what I'm saying?
And I think that one of the powerful things that I noticed about their union is, like, it looked as if there were two individuals doing their thing, coming together for a greater purpose, greater power, and that they weren't takers in their relationship. No. They were givers. And I think that's what separates them from a lot of people. You see people that are married, there's usually one that's a taker, and there's usually one that's a giver, and that's what's causing a lot of the dysfunction that we see today. That's most definitely. But within their particular union, you saw, man, it was almost like they were competing to see who could love each other more.
The more, right. And that's a great competition.
What happened to those types of days where people are coming together I love my wife, or I love my husband, and y'all just
celebrating one another. So let's look in the mirror and say, what is in my heart and my soul that inhibits me, and we as women, we got to really check our dominant nature, you know what I'm saying? Because we can't be dominant. We got to find that place of tenderness, but yet know who we are and still fulfill our heart's cry and our vision and things like that. And then too, the beautiful part is that they had children. It wasn't a blended family. You know what I'm saying? So he has sperm all over the place. You know what I mean? I mean, come on now. I mean, let's not just look at it. I believe that they were set as that model, particularly in our community.
Yes.
More so than just a first black president. Right. You know what I mean? But then he was cool. He was cool. He didn't let money change him. Nope. Still drank his beer. He talked to all kind of folks. He didn't carry no spirit of religiosity. He'll talk to the Jew, the black, the Greek, the bomb, the whoever.
He would go play basketball. High five with the little kids.
And then he'll put on that suit and he'll walk with that GQ. You know what I mean?
That's
and she had a grace and a poise, but yet they could still dance and listen to Beyonce versus Mahalia Jackson or Aretha Franklin. You know what I mean? Yeah. They did not have, she's supposed to be this and she listening to I ain't gonna be in my room on no doggone Fred Hammond with my man. You understand what I'm saying? Know your balance of life.
Yeah, and I think we lost. We have to go back to allowing that to be a positive model and a positive.
But you can only do it being free who you are. Michelle, we cut you off twice.
No. I'm just going back historically. If we ever want to always talk about history, did not start with slavery. So when you think about man and woman, and you think about how we were successful, ancient civilizations, just to bring us to this point, it's in our DNA.
Yeah,
that model that God allowed to happen between Michelle and Barack was a model that. It's already who we are.
Correct.
It's just a matter of getting there. It's a matter of getting through all of this nonsense that's in our head and really taking a look back at how were we made as man and woman, and how were we made to commune to one another. So they are not abnormal. They are normal. And we have it on the inside of us. When you tap into that greatness, it's not just, your wealth building, whatever. It's tapping into that type of relationship. That's greatness. What we saw was greatness. Two people put together, individuals who knew who they are, and came together for a common cause. And that's just to live life.
And it goes back to what Kenny was saying earlier. a lot of what we are doing now is based upon our past decisions, and you got to go step back with that.
Man.
You got to go step back, revisit some things. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep going from a relationship to a relationship and not going back to revisit you. You know what I'm saying? Revisit so you won't make those same decisions. You know what I'm saying? Revisit your motives. Revisit your why. Why? Why?
I continue to shake my head, and that's one of the reasons why I think sometimes I get frustrated is that the equation is quite simple, but we're not willing to abide by the equation. So if you could really just kind of go back to the man or woman in the mirror and really hone in on who you are and what you are called to do, that you will begin to attract the types of people that you have in your life. Because some of y'all have friends that don't need to be a part of your life. Some of y'all are carrying relatives that are weighing you down, man. And it is important for you to realize that, hey, I got to get back to the place where I know who I am, what I'm called to do, and who I'm supposed to be impacting, and who is supposed to be on this journey with me, so that you can escort some people out of the front row of your life into the balcony, into the back row, and make room for some other people that's going to be there to be your asset as you move forward.
I heard you use the word frustration 2 times.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't believe that something should be used and an answer doesn't come in our play, particularly of a great man of your caliber. So can I speak to you what I'm hearing? And I want to rid you from that frustration, because it's a principle and a strategy that has to be put in place. You are doing everything in the fiber of your being, because of your heart, to ignite relationships, bring change to the hearts of people financially, emotionally, spiritually, and all of that, and keep doing it. But the missing ingredient here, and this is what I'm speaking, because Proverbs 18:22 says he is a man who looks at the introductory book of who he is in the mirror, that he finds a wife who is a woman. But when you look up the Hebrew wife, it means a woman, and it also means a woman in the plural, which is women. So your wife needs women who know how to birth your vision. Your wife needs women. She can't do it alone. You see what I'm saying? She's standing with you. So here I am. I want to couple up with Tamiko from a spiritual perspective to illuminate your vision, because every woman can't hang with her.
Yeah, and
every woman can't hang with her. I ain't never met her. Okay, I met you, but I'm just telling you what I'm hearing because of who you are. You see what I'm saying? Weak women around her will cause her frustration, you frustration, because every wife need midwives around them. Just like you're birthing naturally, y'all gonna experience it. You know what I'm saying? But before that happens, a spiritual birthing is taking place based upon your frustration, because it's all spiritual forces that's around. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I'm older than you all. I'm younger. I mean, say that.
Go and clean it up.
I'm younger. You know, I'm seasoned. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I had to just step into my occupancy and my spiritual authority at that point, because it's not even about you. It's how the birthing place of somebody being able to help her push you spiritually, push those things. So now breakthroughs are coming in your life. Forces are being eliminated. You understand what I'm saying? You receive that?
I receive it.
Share your thoughts.
I am, when you said that, I used that word twice, and now I'm just kind of reflecting on like what's really the cause of that. Well, I think sometimes, and I have to admit that I look around the things that are happening around me and seeing prosperity upon other folks that are sharing false messages, right? And then I sit back and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna continue to walk my walk, but I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not impacted by
and you should not, because you are very passionate, and that's why your elevation is here, because most people are utilizing people for their own selfish gain. And that's not Kenny Pugh. Kenny Pugh is saying, I am going to impact lives, not for me and Mrs. Pugh, but for my legacy, for people to truly prosper financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, even sexually, when you get it right. Am I correct? Am I speaking to the right man? Am I speaking to a great man?
That's right.
All right. So when you have frustrations, it's supposed to come into the heart and the womb of a woman that can help bear down and help push. And that's where we as women are missing it, because the enemy loves to keep us with so much jealousy, competition, indecisiveness, distractions that I'm looking at your hair and I ain't looking at the cause, which is the man who got a vision. Are you with me? Well, I'm going to take a break on that. No, we're going to come back. I am D Speaks. You think Kenny Pugh made me go there, but here I am. We'll be right back.
That's it.
What's up, guys? This is Lipstick and Cognac. Starting on Tuesday, you guys will be on rollingout.com and on our Facebook page, giving you all the tea you need for relationships. Here to help you out, man. Make sure y'all tune in from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want to watch your favorite talk show, Lipstick and Cognac. Here with that dynamic duo. You don't want to miss Lipstick, Shadio Comics, and just Cognac Till Like It Is personality, man. It's going to be a great time. Make sure y'all tune in. Tune in on rollingout.com. There's ROLLINGOUT.com. And also on Facebook, Rolling Out Facebook, man. It's going to be a great time. Y'all don't want to miss this. Great laugh, great talks, realness, truth. Man, we ain't race expert. We know what we talking about. So make sure y'all tune in. rollingout.com, man. Lipstick and Cognac.
What up? This your man Rashad Richard, the realest man on radio, the realest man on TV, the realest man on print, and the realest man in the classroom. Welcome to Sucker Free.
This is conservative Republican Mitchell Shelby. I don't care if you ask me my opinion. You're going to get it anyway.
And that is what you do.
And that's what I do.
This is your girl, Nicole. I'll be sitting in with these two. And we're going to have great conversation on Tuesdays at 2:30 on Rolling Out. Sucker Free with Rashad Ritchie. Great conversation.
Don't become the sucker of the week.
Do not become the sucker of the week. Can't wait to talk to you on Tuesday. Be there.
Welcome back to D Speaks You Think with your host, Dunamis D. I am Michelle Obasi, and we have the one and only Kenny Pugh, life coach and relationship expert. Kenny, tell us what's going on with you.
Man, I appreciate the invitation, of course, coming out to be able to share the airwaves with you. Continue to touch the people's lives, man, that God has called you to. For me, I'm continue to coach, be the relationship expert that I am. People can find me online on social media all over the place at Kenny Pugh, except for Twitter, where I am Mr. Kenny Pugh. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of those different places. You can visit me online on the web at www.kennypugh.com. I want to send a shout out to my lovely wife, Tamika, who's tuned in as well. Shout out to you for putting up with me. And that's all I have at this point. Thanks once again for the invitation.
Kenny, you going to come back and see us?
Absolutely.
Most definitely. I got to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to have you back. Okay.
Everybody go out and make sure you attend the great conference that is coming up. I'm excited about being with
Michelle, tell them more before I take it on home.
Good Man versus Great Man Conference. This is our third conference, and it is really a powerful conference. You can register at bit.ly. bit.ly/greatman2018. We have Hassani Pettiford, Brian Heat, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. We have the gentleman who plays Remy, Dondre Whitfield. We also have George Hines Jr. on there. Yes. Awesome lineup. Every year, this platform attracts so many women, but this year men are registering like in the droves. And one of the things that this platform does is it has a positive image of black men, something that you really don't see in media.
Almost definitely.
And it takes it to a whole nother level of relationship building.
It's going to be off the chain. Did you say Dr. Dennis Kimbrough?
Dr. Dennis Kimbrough.
Okay, because you got to say that.
Yes, I'm going to say it again.
You know that's the top of my list.
Yes. But you know what? All of these men are great men. And Kenny was one of the first speakers at our first conference. And so that's when you know quality. And we continue to surround ourselves like you all have been talking about. Great men, great quality. bit.ly/greatman2018. It's the Good Man versus Great Man Conference. We're all over D Speaks You Think on Instagram. D Speaks the letter you think on Twitter. Facebook, Dunamis D.
And also Dunamis Woman.
Dunamis Woman. Yes.
Dunamis. That means you are power. So follow me on Dunamis Woman. And I'm very empathic. I just got to always say this because, when I pastored when I was in Chicago, I definitely love the Word of God. But coupled up with that, I took the book, Think and Grow Rich. The Black Choice with Napoleon Hill. And I married the two for us to do what you are coaching and endeavoring and admonishing a whole lot of people do is look in the mirror. You know what I mean? The imagination, the power, the ideas that God has given you, but we got to break a lot of our own dysfunctions. You know what I mean? So that is why, because that is, I mean, I love Dr. Dennis Kimbrough because I'm the Wealth Choice and Think and Grow Rich. I think we stayed on that for how many years, Michelle? It was a while, you know.
No,
so
serious.
how often do you do in a spiritual setting, marrying the word of God and that where you can bring healing and change to people's lives? So that's what I'm empathic about. And so being able to interview this great man along with all the other ones, and I love his fatherhood, and he ain't new here, he grew here. So I think he's maybe the oldest one that's going to be on that set. So I'm always giving respect to where respect is due, you know, particularly when you've been through some things and you got the stripes on your back. So I want you all to attend that conference October 27th. We're doing it for free, FREE. How much does free cost?
Free is nothing.
$3.99.
$3.99.
Like that.
But it's going to cost you your time, you know. And you say, oh, I can't attend. I got this to do. I got to take Mama Shaniqua here, and I got to go take Ray there.
Distractions.
Those distractions, that's okay. We got something for you. It's called Replay. You know what I mean? You can get it at your own time and leisure, and you can look at it anytime. But the thing is, just don't want to miss it. So we're going to close out on D Speaks You Think. We have come to a great end of this show, but we're going to be back next week, same time here on Rolling Out Live at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. But I'm going to leave you with this. Romans 8:28. It's something that we always quote, and I don't know how familiar you are, but many people are. All things work together for good to them who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. So whatever you have been through in your life, when you understand his purpose for your life, not your purpose. And when you look up the term purpose, it literally means a proposal. So there's been a proposal written in earth for you to adhere to. Will you take this opportunity? Will you read this? Will you go by this plan that's already been written for your life? Because whatever you have been through, whether you deem it good, whether you deem it bad, whether you deem it right, whether you deem it wrong, it's going to all work together for your good, because you're not just called, you are the called. That means, Kenny, nobody can do what you do.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
That I could call myself a coach. I could have coaches lined up. I could have speakers lined up. But when the called Kenny Pugh step up, guess what?
That's it.
Only you can do it. When you say, I have read the proposal, God, continue to deem me as acceptable in your sight, that you can give me the scroll of the proposal that has already been written, and I will follow that plan. Ain't that powerful?
Amen.
That's it.
Ain't that powerful? And many people are looking at your purpose. Check yourself. Let's look in the mirror. Let's do a self-assessment. Let's revisit some things. You didn't do anything wrong. It just had to be a life lesson that had to come to make you the great man or the great woman that you are. And that proposal don't have any hermaphrodites, so you got to know who you are. You're not.
She brought it, didn't
you got to know who you are. On that note, I'm so happy to be with you. Once again, D Speaks You Think on Rolling Out Live. Follow me on all social media. If you can't do nothing else, just Google Dunamis Woman, and I promise you, D will come up. Thanks again, Kenny Pugh.
Thanks for having me.
All right, you're going to
Thank
be
you so
back.
much.
Michelle is already live, and we'll be back with you next week. Have a good one.
That's it.